Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together, talk about movies, TV, and online content, help you answer the question, how much of a cultural impact did your film make if nobody watched the sequel that released on Netflix this past week? Probably not a lot. I'm your host, Ash Shobley. Join me today, Dylan Blight.
We're talking about
Rebel Moon.
That's it. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. That's a joke. Cool. Anyway, the fact I literally just forgot the title and that wasn't even a bit cool. Woo.
Yeah. See, the joke is Zack Snyder said that more people watch Rebel Moon than watch Barbie, and yet nobody's talking about the second movie. Even Netflix isn't talking about it, really.
Did they?
They feel obligated to release it. That's why this is coming out.
Like at this stage, we don't get tax write-offs. They said.
Yeah, we don't. We're ethical like that.
Or else would shelve.
We own our mistakes.
Yeah, we just make people waste their time watching them.
Yeah, it'll be a hit, in like a cult classic in like 20 years. We'll see.
I'm swear there'll be a day where I'm like, you know what? Today's the day. Let's watch this.
Give it another 12 months. 12 months, the director's cut will come out, and that might be good. But not for what's currently in there, from what I've heard.
Mm.
All right, on today's episode, we're talking about what's our watch history, going over some film news, giving some thumbs to trailers, and give this week's top 3. I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about that Dylan hasn't watched, because you haven't ventured to the cinema this past week. What's up with that?
Fuck off. I have a real reason, but yeah, I mean,
okay.
I spent most of last week in Melbourne for the work training, and the one night that I could have gone to the cinema, I was too fucking exhausted to be bothered walking down the road to the cinema. So, you know.
All right. Which one do you want to hear about first?
Fall Guy. Yeah,
so I went to see The Fall Guy last night. It's releasing this week. Of course, starring Ryan Reynolds and Emily Blunt. Ryan Reynolds plays Colt Seavers, a action stuntman who, after a accident on set, breaks up with his camera operator girlfriend and kind of goes and becomes like a valet. But then he's called back to a movie set by this big producer who's connected
Hannah
to
Waddingham, or
played by Hannah Waddingham, who's connected to her big star is Tom Ryder, who is played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. Ryan Gosling was the stunt double for this guy for several motion pictures in a row. She asked him to come be the stunt double in this movie. It's being directed by his former girlfriend, played by Emily Blunt. But turns out Tom Ryder has disappeared, and she really wants him to find Tom Ryder in the city of Sydney. Shenanigans ensue. There's a big conspiracy involved. This is a really, really fun movie.
I'm sold.
Done.
Yeah,
I had a really great time. I've got very few, very small critiques. It's a good time. It's a fun. It's a crowd pleaser. Like I haven't seen it in a long time. It's just it's not super like heady or anything. It's not super intellectual, I would say.
How Aussie is it?
Reasonably Aussie. Like everybody who's not
every bad guy's a tradie. So
yeah, there is a big fight scene, big action sequence involving people in like high vis tradie gear. But anyone who is not like a named actor is like an Aussie.
Any cameo like Aussie actors or anything?
No, not really. No. There's cameos, but nothing.
Sydney Harbour scene was.
Yeah, Sydney
cool.
Harbour. Yeah, they do a big action sequence in front.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they film an action sequence.
Mm-hmm.
They film an action sequence in a movie in front of the Opera House.
No, how about the one where he's on the bridge in the car or whatever? That's in the trailer.
Yeah, that's a.
Is that cool? Or?
That whole sequence is cool. I mean,
Okay,
the bridge is just a bridge in that sequence,
Yeah,
I'd
okay.
say. Yeah, it's just a real delight. Obviously, it is a love letter to stunt people because obviously they're the unsung heroes of stunts.
Mm.
You know, it's very funny because the movie that they're making, in the movie, it's Motorstorm, Wildstorm, something Storm.
Motorstorm, based on
Yeah,
the hit PlayStation video.
no.
Well,
But it's a cross between Dune and Fast and Furious. No,
nice.
Fast and Furious, Mad Max.
I mean,
It's Dune and Mad Max. It's even like the rip-off sound score of when they're playing bits from the movie. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, obviously Ryan Gosling, super charming, he does the fun, affable guy thing, but also is able to be the action hero because he obviously is a big stunt choreographer, stunt person who's done a bunch of stuff. So, he's able to hold himself. There's some fun action sequences, fun like psychs and jumps and falls and all that kind of stuff. Emily Blunt, like, is her and Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling have amazing chemistry on screen. And she gets to have her moments. Aaron Taylor Johnson's really good in the bit that he's in when he's not hidden away for most of the movie, and does an incredible Matthew McConaughey monologue. You'll know it when you see it. Hannah Waddingham's great as like this, schemy kind of producer person. Yeah, I had a good time. I've seen some critiques that kind of moments kind of linger on too long. There's definitely that. There is like early on, there's like a sequence where they're reunited and she's like playing with a hat, and it feels like that's a moment that was like not planned in any way, and David Leitch, the director, liked it and just kept it in the movie. There's kind of moments that are maybe a little bit too long, but nothing that like kind of got me out of the movie. Of course, it's like the movie's like 2 hours long. Could it have been better as a 90-minute movie? I don't know. I was happy with everyone on screen, so as much as I could get is good. So yeah, Fall Guy releasing today at time of release, because Thursday is Anzac Day, so they're releasing it on Wednesday. Go see it.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. You know, I'm enough.
Go.
I was sort of annoyed that I don't know. This is why I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say I'm sort of annoyed at this, but anyway, here I am. I'm sort of annoyed on Thursday. I don't start work till 1, as most places obviously don't open until after. I was like, fucking hell, if the cinema chose to, not follow this Anzac Day rule, I could have gone to the movies before.
You just go tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Just go Wednesday.
No, I'm at work tomorrow.
After work. This is important.
Maybe.
Important stunt stuff.
Important stunt stuff.
This does include a world record breaking cannon roll.
Whoa.
Which looks impressive.
Maybe I can go Friday night. Don't know like what I'll be doing at DreamHack Friday night. Don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing happening in Melbourne.
Nah, true.
It'll be pretty boring. All right. So I've actually got a review up on the website.
I was shocked too.
For a horror movie. Yes, so I saw Abigail, the latest film from Matt Bentinelli, Alpin, and Tyler Gillette, most known colloquially as Radio Silence, who did Ready or Not and did the last 2 Scream movies. So I gave it an 8 out of 10 and said, as someone who does not find joy in being scared, I enjoyed my time with Abigail. I find myself caught up in the mystery of the situation, enjoying the various twists, and not hating the feeling of tension, as I felt the jump scare was sure to be had any second. With a lot of fun moments of what must have been an exorbitant fake blood budget, this is a horror movie I can get behind. So yes, it's a good time. It's in the cinemas. If you haven't watched the trailer, just go watch the movie and skip ahead. If you did watch the trailer, this is a movie where there's a little girl who's a vampire. is a bunch of criminals who've been hired to kidnap her, not knowing she's a vampire, and kind of hold her ransom. But it turns out she's a vampire, so now they're stuck in a safe house with a vampire. It's fun.
Not playing at my local cinema.
Really?
Yeah.
That is crazy. Because this is
I know, right? I think they were paid off.
Clearly. To anti-vampire agenda?
No. Screen producers agenda.
Yeah, really fun. Obviously, you know, Alicia Weir is going very opposite to what we saw her in last in Matilda. Very against type.
I honestly, until someone pointed that on Twitter the other day, did not ever click onto that, and I really like that Matilda movie. So,
yeah, she's really great here because obviously she's playing the scared little girl at the start, pretending to, you know, be kidnapped or whatever. And then when she shows her true colors, like she's like meant to be like hundreds of years old, like vampire. So she's able to do both really well. Of course, Melissa Barrera is the lead kidnapper. You know, she's really great here. She's probably a little bit more believable here than she is in Scream because her character is a little bit more. You actually believe she's someone who could deal with this situation rather than Sam, who's kind of like, I guess able to.
Sam is
I can fight people off because my dad was a psychopath.
Correct.
Spoilers. Dan Stevens, fantastic. He's having a good year.
What are you?
He just knows what the assignment is at the moment and delivers. He plays like so the crew doesn't have any names. Well, they don't. They've been told not to
Mr.
give their real
Pink.
names, so they're given like fake names at the start.
Miss Yellow.
But they work out that he was a former detective, but he enjoyed going undercover too much and kind of like
taste of the bad life.
Yeah, got chased that bad life. So he's happy to turn on people and that kind of stuff. There's points in this movie where I said in my review, it feels like he's evoking the spirit of he's evoking the spirit of Joe Pesci's Harry from Home Alone, because he's got to deal with this freaking kid who he thinks he's going to get the better of this entire time. It's the point where he comes downstairs like, like Harry. Yeah, it's fun. Everybody else is really good. Catherine Newton. She's probably the best known of the other supporting players. She's really fantastic as like this hacker girl, but she's like from a rich family.
Is it a spoiler to tell me why the Twilight shirt is a thing? But she was wearing a Twilight shirt in some interviews, and apparently people were like, "Oh no!" An interviewer wore a Twilight shirt, and then I saw clips of her being like, "Ah!" and stuff, and it sounded like it was a reference to something.
I think they made like a viral, like a behind the scenes video where they were playing baseball, in Twilight. I think they mentioned Twilight because there's a scene where they're like, "Oh, what kind of vampire is she? Is she Twilight? Is she Lost Boys and that kind of stuff?" It's like there is a scene where they test what could possibly be a weakness against Abigail, and it doesn't work out. Angus Cloud, he's in it for a while. Last role, definitely brings a unique vibe to the movie.
We haven't seen him in anything before, right?
I saw him in the first one episode of Euphoria.
Yeah, I was about to say he's got a vibe.
Yeah, and it's captured here on the big screen. But yes, there is a lot of blood, more blood than I was expecting. Even though this is a vampire movie, and obviously there is a lot of blood. And
you haven't seen Ready or Not, though, have you?
No, I haven't. The interesting thing is, I saw somebody else's review, and I think they made a very good point. This is kind of the reverse of Ready or Not. Where in Ready or Not, you've got Samara Weaving like trying to deal with everybody trying to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this movie, it's all these people having to deal with Abigail trying to kill them.
And they both just take place in one.
They all take place in the one building.
I presume this all takes place in one location. But
yeah, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to reveal. Yeah, I mean, my only criticism is the ending kind of gets kind of hokey, and the finale of this movie doesn't quite nail the landing. There are definitely interesting elements to it, but yeah, it's just the way it's still kind of executed didn't work for me at the very least. And kind of evoked a lot of recent cinema that we did. I think a lot of people don't necessarily like. So yeah, that's my non-spoilery critique of the ending of the movie.
I suppose I have no idea what you're saying, so good job.
Good job. The people who did know will know. But yeah, Abigail, it's a lot of good fun. It's not too scary, there's tension. They do that thing where you think there's going to be a jump scare and it turns out there is, and then sometimes there isn't.
Like anytime you talk about a horror movie, it's like, right. It was good horror movie because I wasn't as scared as I thought I was going to be.
Yeah. Let me tell you, there is something creepy about young girls dancing in horror movies, between this and Megan, because the little girl likes to be ballet or whatever, and she's constantly doing like Swan Lake all over the place. So yeah, good time. Also very brutal. Like they don't hold back, but they're like tossing her around like she's a.
Well, she's what?
Well, I guess she's trying to kill them.
Vampire,
I mean,
right?
it makes sense, but
it's
still very.
Did they ever find out how old?
Pretty brutal. So yeah, Abigail, check it out in cinemas.
I'll try.
Surely one of them will show it, Or you go to Melbourne. There you go. Then I also watched Challenges. Obviously, the latest film starring Zendaya with
bringing sexy back to cinema.
Bringing the sexy back to cinema. Also starring Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor. Zendaya plays a former tennis prodigy who has a career-ending injury, who has turned to coaching, has been coaching her husband, played by Mike Feist, who she met as a teenager, I guess, with his doubles partner, played by Josh O'Connor. Several years have passed. Obviously, he's near the end of his career. He's just come back from an injury and is trying to get back into form, but is being roundly beaten constantly. So Zendaya's character puts him in a challenger level tournament, which is like a very much a lower level, not Grand Slam.
So you better explain what that means to me, because
it's held at like a very. It's not like held at the very local tennis club, but it's not far off from a local tennis club,
Right. He's a pleb.
Yeah, just to get his confidence back and that kind of stuff. But it turns out in the final he's playing his former doubles partner.
Oh shit!
Who also happened to be in a relationship with Zendaya's.
Shit!
At a certain point in history, so this is an interesting movie because it is told the challenger tournament is like the top layer, the present day, and they're playing the final, and the match takes place over the entire movie. But while the match is happening, we jump back in time several times to different periods of their lives, and kind of fill in the backstory to where they're up to now, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's fantastic. Zendaya is fantastic. It's very much a movie about, Zendaya at the start. She's she loves tennis and is obsessed with tennis and constantly talking about tennis because she feels like tennis is having a rally in tennis allows you to see a person as they really are. It's like a kind of relationship that you have hitting the ball against each other as hard as you can and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Meanwhile, there's these two dudes who want to, get in her pants. They're at the US Open. They're playing in the under 18s competition, whatever. Yeah, so they kind of, there's the scene in the hotel room and all that, and feelings are had and feelings are broken, You know, it's just like I think it's a movie that is told fantastically. There is a bunch of anime ass shit in here. Like the way that Luca
Yeah, that guy.
Guadagnino.
Don't know.
I apologize, Luca. The way he shoots the movie is, or at least the tennis is very anime. And yeah, there's lots of cutbacks. There's lots of relationship stuff and drama and that kind of stuff. But yes, there is an air of sexiness around it, because it is about that back and forth.
I've heard
and,
people play tennis, so
it gets loud. There is moans.
Ah!
Yeah, it just works. It's just kind of riveting 2 hours as you watch, all these people kind of dealing with their like emotional baggage and drama and very fascinating. It's like some incredibly over the top. There is a scene where they're making out in the middle of a massive windstorm. Freaking weird.
You only get one chance to say you've done that in your life.
That is probably true. Yeah. Fantastic movie. Definitely worth seeing in the cinemas. Fantastic score by Tricia Strauss and Trent Reznor as well. Like it definitely kicks in heavy during the tennis, but it also kicks in heavy during fights, like kind of making the fights that people are having feel like tennis, like, or at least comparing them to the tennis matches and that kind of stuff, which maybe irks some people because obviously when you raise the level of the background music, it kind of makes it hard to hear the dialogue, but you get the idea.
They know
getting the feeling is more important than the actual dialogue things that they're saying.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, dialogue isn't that important. So yeah,
nerds.
Challenges. Oh, yeah. I mean, my only other critique is like there's some very clear CGI when they're playing the tennis.
Whoa! You're
Like,
telling me they're not as good.
That tennis ball is not actually.
What the fuck?
Also, there's like shots of the camera being the tennis ball, so
Oh, you're wrong.
I can't think of any feasible way they could have done that practically.
Easy, they just throw a fucking camera. Yeet it like a fucking.
They got a massive rig just to get the camera to go.
What was those things
back.
they used to throw? Vortexes?
Vortexes? Okay, yeah. If it goes forward, then you have to get the actor to hit it, and then it goes back the other way. And you just catch it, whatever it is.
Yeah. Vortex, right?
I mean, the most anime shot.
To them?
I don't think they had cameras in them, for a start. I'm pretty sure there's still a thing. I don't think you Googling vortexes right now.
Yeah. Nerf was the Nerf.
Yeah, Nerf bought all
Nerf Vortex. Yes, you can still buy them in some places. They're on clearance at Big W at the moment.
Oh, good. Wow.
But they were
get one now. Stick a camera in it. GoPro. Yeah, there's super anime shot where like they're shooting it from the tennis court from underneath the tennis court. So clearly they've got a see-through tennis court, raised it up however many feet to get the camera underneath, and like are filming them from underneath.
Maybe. Or it's all CGI.
That could be very plausible as well. Yeah, Challenges. Go check it out. It is another fantastic movie. A lot of fantastic movies at the cinema right now. But now I want to talk about some movies that were not at the cinema. Some movies that came to Apple TV Plus. So I watched 2 documentaries that are somewhat connected. So I watched Boy State and Girl State. Boy State released, I want to say 2020, and Girl State released only in the past month or so. So in America, in each state, there is a program called Boys State and Girl State, where children go away and like 1,000 kids go to like a university, college or whatever, and they do like a fake state government. They run a fake state government. They do elections to become the highest position in the government. Some of these kids are like vying to become get elected as governor because I guess it'll look good on their CV or whatever. But it's a bunch of kids who are super into politics and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, so, just question: what's the age of the kids?
18 to 17,
okay,
18.
So like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, continue.
So yes, so you've got so Boy State is follows the program in Texas. So that should tell you something. So yeah, you follow a bunch of the kids during the week or so that the program is running. It's very focused on like as part of the program. There's like two parties. There's the Federalists and not the Republicans. It's something else. Another
Democrats.
No. Another term that used
Tea
to be
Party.
they used to be no.
The South.
Not helping at all.
Confederacy.
Nationalists.
Ku Klux Klan.
Nationalists is your party. Fuck it. So yeah, it follows these kids as they're trying to like jockey for different positions. A lot of them trying to be either the governor, or it also follows a couple of kids who are the the party state chairman, which is another high-ranking position, and is kind of in charge of running the elections or whatever. Yeah, it is a portrait of what these young people think politics is and what will help them get ahead. And like one of them's like, "Hey, I'm just gonna run on a platform of guns are cool. We don't want any gun control, and
I'm gonna guess that
like super conservative ideals."
Yeah, and that works, right?
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a lot, like some scary things to take from there. It's like, I know lying about this stuff or like manipulating the audience in this way is not great, but whatever it takes to get elected and like messaging like that, it is pretty cutthroat. But the movie kind of goes like deep into like the ideas and policies. Like it's a bunch of teenagers also, so they're introducing a bunch of like policies, stupid policies. Like I want us to, make sure we open up Area 51. I want to secede from America. They're also constantly wanting to impeach the state chairman.
Sure.
There is also a bunch of juvenile stuff that's happening during this as well. But then you've also got kids who like really care about the issues and that kind of stuff. And there's this kid who was like, who was influenced by Bernie Sanders amongst this group of what you would think would be heavily conservatives, who is trying to become governor. But then there's like photos of him at a like a gun control rally or whatever, and the opposition is using those things against him. It goes pretty hardcore. There's like full on. They like invent like Instagram accounts and have like Boy State specific memes for the week. It's like pretty ridiculous. So yeah, Boy State definitely an interesting watch. Filled with hope and also sadness for the future of Okay. For every piece of hope that you have, there's also shit. So Girl State's interesting because obviously they filmed it like after Boy State.
Still in Texas or
no? So this time they're in Missouri.
Okay.
But the other thing about normally a lot of these the events are held separately, but this Missouri Girl State is being held on the same campus as Boy State at the same time. So all the girls are kind of...
It's not really Girl State. It's co-ed state.
No. It's still separate. It's also very different. And it becomes very apparent very quickly that, Girl State is being run very differently to Boy State. To the extent where the girls have to sing like a Girl State song every day. Definitely didn't have to do it in Boy State. And like the person elected as governor in Boy State has like the proper like governmental officials come in and swear them in, but there's nothing like that for the Girl State. The Girl State is very much about female empowerment and that kind of stuff, but it isn't really like getting into the nitty gritty, like tackling of issues and that kind of stuff. And the documentary isn't really interested in that. It's interesting. The documentary is filmed. The event takes place like 1 or 2 weeks before Roe vs. Wade is overturned. So this is during that time period where the leaked Supreme Court ruling had been disseminated. So a lot of the talk is about, a lot of the focus of what talk we see in the documentary is focused on that. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the girls are very liberal, surprisingly. Or maybe not surprisingly, but then there's also like a couple of conservatives that they follow. And again, they like, it's very interesting because the Boys Day documentary made it feel like it was a political event. This one feels more like a popularity contest, the race for governor. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the biggest portrait of these things. It's like, Boys Day, super serious. We're doing, we're preparing these men for a life in politics. Whereas the Girl State is like, girls, you can do stuff if you believe in it. We're not going to show you how to do it, but you can. So yeah, it's kind of infuriating in that way. But the actual people involved in it are a lot more likable than a lot of the people in Boys State. Who
what's the wildest thing the girls ask for? Like, what's their wildest policies?
They don't even get into any of that.
Oh, what's the point? It doesn't sound like a real sequel.
I mean, yeah. Again, it just shows you the difference between the two programs. So yeah, those are both on Apple TV Plus. I think they're an interesting watch, an interesting pairing, like to compare and contrast. Yeah, I think Girl State, I feel, will rub people the wrong way, like especially a certain type of group, because the end credit song is "If I Was a Man" by Taylor Swift. Nice. And obviously, that's kind of the message of the movie, I guess. All right, let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. And Dylan, you watched a film that surprisingly has gotten a lot of attention this week. What Jennifer Did.
Has it? Because this came out like a month ago, didn't it?
Yeah, but
why has it got so much?
How about you talk about the movie first, and then I'll explain why.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was fine. But actually, no, I'd say it was pretty mediocre. I guess it was. So it's about a. I mean, how do you talk about spoiling it? Actually, it's really hard to talk to about spoiling it. It's about a girl, Jennifer Pan. She calls the cops. Her parents are killed. Well, she's tied up. Then it's one of these ones where they begin looking into the boyfriend, the associates, some weird stuff that's been going on in the background there. It's just your typical Netflix style documentary. I wouldn't recommend it. There you go. Okay. There's my very short.
So apparently there's images in the movie where the killer or the girl, I guess, is looking very happy at certain points. Like, she's looking very cheerful before the events of the movie.
We just spoiled the movie, but yeah.
I mean, the movie's called What Jennifer Did, right?
Not to spoil it.
So
true. I guess. Yeah. Okay. So I take back my description of the film. It's a movie about knowing that the girl definitely did it and taking an hour to get to why.
Jennifer did or didn't do. I don't know. Yeah. So there's like images of her looking super happy, or whatever, in the movie, right? Like a party or something, like doing double thumbs up is the one I've seen around constantly.
Social media.
That was AI.
Yeah.
They used AI to create pictures where she looked happy.
Is it confirmed, or are we talking people think it's AI?
I'm pretty sure it's confirmed because a lot of places have run the story.
Okay, I don't understand why they would do that, but sure.
Here we go, from Pedestrian TV.
Shoutouts.
Okay, it's not confirmed, but streaming giant has been accused of using AI in its trending true crime documentary What Jennifer Did, after punters point out several distortions in some of the images used in the project. One of the things that Netflix is known for is a plethora of content surrounding the grim subject of true crime. In early April, the streaming giant dropped What Jennifer Did, which is a documentary that unpacks the case of Jennifer Pan, who's serving life in prison after she hired hitmen to kill her parents. Sorry. In the documentary, it appeared that the filmmakers obtained a bunch of never-before-seen images of Jennifer. However, according to Futurism, some of those images used appear distorted or manipulated. Per the publication, some of the inconsistencies that were pointed out included Jennifer's hand, which seemed to be missing fingers, her facial features, and objects in the background. True crime content creator Sylvia also mentioned that the featured photo for the doc also seemed a bit off. I also just noticed in the left photo, her top teeth do not line up with the bottom row. It's like one tooth is behind.
That's weird.
The TikTok added she believed Netflix could have just enhanced the images to improve its quality, hence why it was a fake look. Personally, I do find it odd to create AI for true crime because there's two things that are just complete opposites of the spectrum. To continue a video which has garnered more than 1 million views. Speaking to the Toronto Star, What Jennifer Did, executive producer Jeremy Grimaldi denied the use of AI in the documentary, but said different tools were used in the film. So yeah, that's why people were talking about What Jennifer Did.
I didn't see anything that stood out, but to be honest, I was only half paying attention, so I'll admit that. I would say I don't believe they did, solely because I don't understand why. Yeah. Like, why would they? Like, I just don't. Like, it feels way too. Like, and I know that people are using AI for weird things.
Yeah.
But that, I just choose. I can't believe that that's a thing that happened. That's weird.
Yeah. I feel. Yeah, I feel like I just don't. There's very much a chance that people are just jumping to conclusions. And any kind of weird photo, is apparently now AI and not just some weird visual.
I just don't know why that would. Like, I don't. Why would they make? Like, if you really think that you could use AI or Photoshop someone to smile in a documentary about like someone being killer in particular, and not have that have repercussions, like, you're an idiot, right? So I just don't think anyone would be that dumb to do that. Surely not.
Yeah. You also watched the documentary I watched earlier in the year, Lover, Stalker, Killer. What did you think of that one?
I think this one was a bit more interesting. Again, it is your sort of typical Netflix style documentary to a degree, but I guess the thing with this one is they actually have the guy reenacting some of the stuff. Well, not reenacting, but like just like at least in it, he's talking, but then like playing out, pretending. Oh, then she walked into a shop that day, and he's down there pretending to be a mechanic or whatever. So that stuff.
I'm pretty sure it was a mechanic.
Yeah, well,
he's just doing mechanic things. Yeah.
Yes. He's pretending to be working though.
Yes. Yeah.
He's acting. But yeah, I mean, the story on this one had a wild twist, so at least that made it.
I mean, did you see the twist coming?
I would say,
because I feel like that was my critique. I'm like, no. I know where this is going.
I didn't.
Okay.
How the fuck do you predict that? Maybe I was not paying enough attention either. But like, how the fuck? Like,
I feel like it's in the name, but
I would have guessed. I don't know. Maybe you read it different as me. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I think I took it as three people. Maybe you've read it as.
I feel like also with these documentaries, like as you're going along, you also theorize like, why are they telling the story? So like, surely there's got to be a twist that justifies why they're telling this story.
I mean, I was waiting for a twist, but I don't think I guessed. I didn't guess the twist was what it was.
All right. All right. So that was Lover, Stalker, Killer. Then you also watched 2 Jimmy Carr specials. You watched his 2021 special, his Dark Material, and his latest special, Natural Born Killer.
Yeah, it's Jimmy
just
Carr.
Jimmy Carr laughing.
No, it's just it's just Jimmy Carr doing Jimmy Carr jokes. And I mean, Jimmy Carr jokes are
how offensive from a scale of 1 to 10?
How offensive?
Yeah.
For me personally, or like for what I think would be perceived.
I mean, is it?
I mean,
I guess for you, and we know that you're like higher on the scale. You're more hard judgmental on the spectrum.
Yeah, I don't think I am. I watch a lot of stand-up. If I understand the joke's a joke, I just think that spending half hour making jokes about trans people is, I think there's a line,
20 minutes.
I think there's, I mean, it's, I thought it was decent, special. I mean, if you don't like Jimmy Carr's type of stand-up, this isn't going to change you. It's his type of special is just standing on stage in one spot, just telling joke after joke after joke. And like literal just there's not a lot of crowd engagement, which isn't his style. Well, it isn't. Like, he deals with hecklers and stuff a lot, but like his style is literally just telling like punchline jokes after another. Yeah. He does, gets onto, cancel culture and everything else that every comedian loves to touch on now. I mean, it was fine. Honestly, I can't put it this way. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. Can't remember any of the jokes from it. I remember laughing at a couple. Whatever. It was fine. Yeah. But the fact I guess I can't, there was no standout stuff that have.
Yeah. All right. All right.
But they'll run the same story. There you
go. I suspected that was the case. All right. That's everything in our watch history. Let's move into a little bit of film news. And the film world has been rocked by this massive news. Quentin Tarantino is going back to the drawing board for what will be his 10th and final film. Tarantino is stepping away from the Movie Critic.
Just make 11 movies,
his
you daft
10th feature, and will no longer be making it, Wire has confirmed. The news is a major shock, as the project had Brad Pitt in talks for the lead role, and even rumors that Sony was circling the picture to release it after previously releasing his prior film, 2019's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The film even secured a California tax credit to shoot in Los Angeles and was meant to begin shooting earlier this year, but was delayed due to Tarantino reportedly rewriting his script. But the source says Tarantino has now had a change of heart and moved on from the film entirely. It is unclear what he intends for his next film, presumably still meant to be his last. Tarantino previously said, "The Movie Critic was based on a porno rag journalist inspired by a real person whom Tarantino read growing up, and the film would be set in California in 1977. He had previously said he wrote about mainstream movies and he was a second-string critic. I think he was a very good critic. He was as cynical as hell. His reviews were a cross between early Howard Stern and what Travis Bickle might have been if he were a film critic. Think about Travis's diary entries." Rumors had abound that the script had been rewritten to have Pitt reprise his role as stuntman Cliff Booth, his Oscar-winning role from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or that include other past Tarantinos. But now we will wait and see what he decides to do next. Tarantino has been adamant about sticking to the 10 film rule before retiring, or at least from directing feature films, so the Movie Critic carried a lot of excitement about it. In the past, Tarantino had circled a Star Trek movie, but abandoned that project as well for the same reason, that he did not want it to be his last film. Tarantino previously vowed to step away from The Hateful Eight after the film script leaked online, though he eventually returned to make that film after he had staged a reading of the script for charity. Dylan, I think you made your feelings clear on this, but what did you think of this news that Tarantino is making the Movie Critic?
It continues to be an absolute idiotic thing he's done since forever. I've never understood his obsession with this number, his thing about, minimal movies and making sure that every movie he does is perceived as perfection and going out on such a high and whatever else, when you've got, other directors like Scorsese out here, still working, making movies every couple of years and putting out
You've
bangers.
Got Ridley Scott just throwing paint against the wall.
Yeah, literally. I understand he doesn't want to be that, but I'm like, this rule, this really weird thing. He's like Cody Rhodes of directors, you know what I mean? He just He just fucking said, "Oh, I can't go for the belt anymore," and then stuck to it. It's like, dude, you're writing the story. Just fucking
change the ending.
Write yourself out of it. Like, just change the ending. You know, change the story, change the narrative.
Just retcon. You know, just put a 0 to that number.
Yeah. What? Oh, he's like, oh no, I thought of a cool idea, so now I better sit down and decide which film I really want to make as my 10th. It's like, I know. How about you make both? Fuck, say.
Yeah, I mean that's my take. You know, like, it just seems like a weird thing for an artist to like hold themselves, like to scrap things, to choose not to make things. That just seems anti art, I guess. Like, especially when it was clearly so far along as well. Yeah, I mean it's disappointing. And it really what this does is it just ramps up the pressure on whatever project he chooses to actually try and make for his next one. And what happens when that he feels like that isn't the perfect project? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Do we ever get a 10th?
And then he's like, "Oh, I'll make one more movie and I'll go to writing novels." It's like, but what's the difference? Like, are you going to bang out novels because apparently it's a lesser medium or it's easier? I'm very confused. Like, why is it suddenly like, if it's an artistic thing about being afraid to make something bad, what's the difference between that and like if you start putting out novels afterwards and you put out a bad novel? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand what you don't want to maybe overexpose people to your work and like have a limit, like a specialty to like having a limited amount.
Yeah, but he's made fuck all movies.
I mean, he's
in
made
the scheme of like
literally.
It's not a lot in the scheme of like some directors. Like
some of the directors have only got a handful, you know.
Yeah, and this motherfucker's also out here like, oh yeah, Kill Bill counts as one movie. You're literally making the rules up. Like, you could have said Grindhouse wasn't death proof, it's not a movie. No, you're like, you get on stage at Comic-Con when they talked about it. I remember him watching the fucking YouTube video of him and Rodriguez sitting there, and someone asked if it was counts as his next movie. He's like, whatever number it was at the time, he's like, this is my 7th movie. It's not a fucking bullshit one. It's my 7th movie. It's like, you make the rules. Kill Bill's one movie, though. Like, fucking dumb.
So, yeah, very weird. But I guess, you know, maybe he'll come back to this or circle back to it, or, you know, how would you feel if he let somebody else make the Movie Critic? That would be weird as well, but unprecedented.
No, it wouldn't be that weird. He's sold scripts. He scripts to make Reservoir Dogs. You know, like Natural Born Killers is his script.
Most what is it?
Blood,
Dust Before
True
Dawn.
Romance. Dust Before Dawn is his script. He's wrote stuff that other people directed before, but
like, not in a while though.
Not in a while, and he hasn't let anyone for ages, obviously. But just, yeah, I don't know. How about you just make both movies? I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, just make everything, mate.
Why not?
This was an interesting piece of sequel news. 30 years after the release of The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, the cult classic from director Stephen Elliott is getting a sequel. Original trio of Terrence Stamp, Guy Pearce, and Hugo Weaving will return to their roles for the new film. Elliott will return as director, writer, and producer, and is seeking a producing partner for the sequel. The Culliver 1994 film follows a transgender woman named Bernadette, played by Stamp, and two drag queens play Adam Whiteley / Felicia Jolly Goodfellow, played by Hugo Weaving, and Tick / Mitzi Del Bra, played by Guy Pearce, as they road trip around the Australian outback in a bus nicknamed Priscilla. Plot details for the sequel are still under wraps, but it will feature a grown-up version of Tick's 7-year-old son from the original flick. Dylan, what do you think of them making a sequel to Priscilla, Queen of the Desert?
Why?
Because the director had an idea.
I'll need to be proven wrong on this one, but I feel like that's a cult classic film that returning to is not going to go well. That's how I feel on this. There are too many just unique, you could not replicate things with that movie, and a lot of those actors being younger and stuff, I think, is part of it. Maybe the time it came from as well. that also helps it stand out. I think, of course, like having that like a pro sort of a quality movie when that came out. Yeah, I feel like that's a a rarity, a unique gem of a film, and I don't feel like this returning is going to go well. Happy to be wrong, but I wouldn't say I'm not.
Yeah, I've never seen the film, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out that, like, obviously drag culture and that kind of stuff is like been much more culturally
one of the
accepted in
biggest
last
fucking
30
TV
years.
shows on TV at the moment is RuPaul's Drag Race, right? And the million fucking spin-offs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what are you gonna tell here that you couldn't, like, is unique, I guess, or is it just going to be a movie of these three people coming back together and going, "Wow, look at how far the world has changed since we did that"?
Yep.
We had that last road trip 30 years ago.
It's wild. Let's do it again.
It's like they go around the outback and just nobody cares that they're in drag.
Yep.
It's like, wow, the things have really been progressive. This is very boring road trip.
Yep. We had half the amount of people yell stuff at us. We've come far, everyone.
So yeah, I guess wait and see how that one plans out. This is an interesting one. For 40 years, the Sundance Film Festival has been the United States' preeminent market and showcase for independent films. Over this span, the festival has become famous not just for its groundbreaking movie it's premiered, but its wintry Park City, Utah setting. January is peak ski season in the once sleepy resort town, which gives Hollywood executives, producers, artists an extra incentive to skip town and squeeze in some time on the slopes while watching loads of new movies for some of the most talented and excitingly unconventional filmmakers on the planet. This annual tradition could be coming to an end. Today, the Sundance Institute announced that it is soliciting bids to relocate the 10-day festival. According to the festival director, Eugene Hernandez, we are in a unique moment for our festival and our global film community, and with the contract up for renewal, this exploration allows us to responsibly consider how we best continue sustainably serving our community while maintaining the essence of the festival experience. He added that Sundance is motivated by a commitment to ensure that the festival continues to thrive culturally, operationally, and financially as it has for 4 decades. Sundance will receive requests for information from potential hosts between April 17th and May 1st. It is believed the new host city for the 2027 Sundance Film Festival will be announced by the end of this year. Crazy. I don't think I've ever heard of a film festival.
I can't picture Sundance without snow, so that's what I would say.
Yeah, you'll see all these reporters like people standing in the snow, shivering, and then having to go into the cinema. Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Because you see like it's obviously also a thing that's played into like different films and that kind of stuff. They go to Sundance, like it's snow.
Yep, they're like, hey, watch Anatomy of a Fall. It's got snow.
Yeah, you'll feel right at home. It's like you're really there.
Yeah. But like it's like moving cans. It's like it's called the Palme d'Or. Like
I mean, that's harder to do because I believe it's like it takes place in the actual place called Cannes, right? If you're like moving the Venice Film Festival to something else.
But Sundance takes place in sun. Under the sun.
That's true. They're always dancing. See, they messed up when they made the festival. They should have called it Utah Ski Slopes Festival.
That's right. Ski slopes,
leave the option
movie
there.
sometime.
Yeah, this just seems...
Get your coats.
I know. Are they not making enough money, I guess? Is that the problem? I don't know. I don't feel good about Sundance moving somewhere else. And we've got absolutely no dog in this fight. Because, we're unlikely to ever go to Sundance. And the closest we would possibly get is, like, if they open it up to online journalists, So
I don't even know.
It just feels like Sundance should be in the snow in Utah.
Do you own a passport?
But I could also understand why, they could potentially get some pretty big bids to bring the film festival to larger metropolitan cities that would probably be easier to accommodate large groups of people and would make the festival more money.
Who gives a fuck? Do you own a passport?
Not currently.
Yeah, neither do I. So we couldn't even go even if they invited us. So
Just get that a rush job. They do those, right? It's like, oh no, I need my passport
like a good reason or whatever.
2 weeks. Or if I knew if I was applying to go to Sundance, I would get a passport beforehand.
Yeah, but like if they like listen to this and they're like, hey, they listen to this right before the show, they're just googling Sundance
and find this episode from
this pops
April, where we shit talked the movie festival. If they're like, hey,
correct, yes,
I know it was last minute, but
let's invite them. Yeah,
you can come. We're not going to pay for anything else. But we've got tickets.
Yeah, we'll pay. Yeah, here you come.
That would be a pretty bad scenario, but yeah.
Get your jackets.
I would freeze to death. All right, last story for this week.
You fucking would, actually, I reckon.
Here's another interesting one that I'm interested to see what your reaction to is. Korean auteur Park Chan-wook is set to adapt his 2003 masterpiece, Old Boy, as an English-language TV series alongside Lionsgate Television, the studio announced on Wednesday. Park, who directed and co-wrote the original mystery film, is attached to produce Old Boy series adaptation alongside his producing partner, Sid Lim. Of course, Park is fresh off The Sympathizer, his limited series starring Robert Downey Jr. that just debuted on HBO this past weekend. And while it's not the first English-language remake of Old Boy following Spike Lee's 2013 film starring Josh Brolin, it'll be the first time the film will be adapted for the small screen. Park said in a statement, Lionsgate Television shares my creative vision for bringing Old Boy into the world of television. Look forward to working with a studio whose brand of bold, original, and risk-taking storytelling. Of course, Old Boy was adapted from a Japanese manga of the same name, and follows a man who was trapped in prison for 15 years only to discover that he must find his captor within 5 days. The film is famous for a seismic twist, a brutal fight sequence down a claustrophobic hallway with the protagonist wielding only a hammer, and its blood-soaked, stylized revenge story. Dylan, would Old Boy work as a TV series?
I mean, yeah. I guess it would work as a TV series, yeah. And this one of those cases where I'm not going to get super up because of what, as you just said then, it is based on a manga, so
and it's already been ruined once, right?
Yeah, it's already been ruined once, so I highly doubt this TV show could be worse than the American film remake. So I feel like the thing would be, again, go back to the instead of trying to make the 2003 film, but as a TV show,
instead of trying to do a shot-for-shot remake,
just go back to the actual source material and work forward from there. Instead of trying to the 2003 film, the original film. That's it. That's just what it is, right? It's special. It's over there. Leave it alone. Stop trying to recreate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's potential there. Obviously, he's involved, so there's that little bit of confidence in him being able to recapture some of that. It being English language, that doesn't kind of close the door. It could be set in Korea still. It's just that everybody speaks English for whatever reason. Or you could do a complete American version. I don't know. I mean, either version is not completely out of the realm of possibility. I never saw the Spike Lee version, surprisingly. So I don't know how certain elements translated to an American story.
They just did everything the same.
Even the school stuff and
yep.
I guess we'll wait and see. Interesting story though. So look forward to that maybe coming.
Look forward to that maybe.
Maybe, but also probably not. Alright, let's get into giving some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. We're kicking things off with Trakt, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Starring Josh Hartnett, Ariel Donahue, Salika Shyamalan, Hayley Mills, and Alison Pill. A serial killer dubbed the Butcher joins his daughter at a concert for pop star Lady Raven But the butcher realizes the concert is a trap set by the police to catch him. Tim, what do you think of the trailer for Trakt?
Yeah, double thumbs up. It's great. Probably one of the better trailers released this year. It's like a little mini short film, I guess, in the way it's played out. I fully believe everything seen here is from the first 20 minutes of the movie. Rest would be showing way too much, but I think because this is obviously just the setup, the trailer just plays out, I think, perfectly. The reveal, the shot, like him pulling out the phone, the little smirk grin, all that sort of stuff. I mean, and it's M. Night, so, everyone's trying to work out what the actual real twist is going to be, assuming there is one. Everyone online reckons it's going to be, it's like the daughter's actually the killer, all these wild fucking things. But, yeah, double thumbs up. Keen.
I mean, the twist is that he isn't the butcher, it's just another serial killer.
Could be.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. I think, they did a fantastic job of building to Josh Hartnett in that bathroom, looking at the phone, because had you heard anything about this movie before we watched the trailer?
I knew it was a movie called Trakt from M. Night.
No, so I saw people joking online, oh, what artist would get a serial killer, would do something, have a trap like this?
Oh, actually, I heard about this prior to the trailer because ever since Buddy made me listen to that one episode of the Big Picture podcast, I've actually started listening to that. And it's a really good podcast, would suggest. Also, listen to this still, but anyway, because he went to, I can't remember the main dude's name. I'm not that big of a fan yet, but he was at CinemaCon.
Okay.
And they showed the trailer there.
Yeah.
So he talked about it and described the trailer as it played out. So I knew how the trailer would play out before I watched it, but it was still cool to see it.
So I just assumed this is a dad and his daughter having to deal with being in a concert hall with a serial killer. But no, he's the serial killer. It's a cool twist. That is a cool twist. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's fun. Also, that seems like a weird choice for my first thought is it seems like a very weird thing for for the police to allow to happen, to let a serial killer be in amongst a bunch of people. That seems like a dangerous situation. I think the reason
everyone's assuming,
but I guess the reason is they think
the reason everyone's assuming it's a girl is because it's the pop concert. It's how did the cops know that would
No, I just think someone who's willing to kill. Why would you put them in a place, keep them confined in a place with a bunch of people? But I guess with serial killers, you've got a
once you start working backwards from how is the trap a pop concert? Why is that?
Why is that the trap? I don't.
Trap.
Yeah.
How did that?
I mean, that's part of the mystery. So, yeah, double thumbs up for me. Fantastic trailer. Trakt is coming to cinemas on the 8th of August. Next trailer is for Thelma the Unicorn, directed by Jared Hess and Lin Wang.
I'm sorry. Just the fact you trap, killer, butcher. Next show is Film of the Unicorn.
With these trailers, I love to go tonally completely different.
Yeah, it's funny.
So yes, directed by Jared Hess and Lin Wang, starring Brittany Howard, Will Forte, Jermaine Clement, Edie Patterson, Fred Armisen, Zach Galifianakis, John Hader, and Chandrella Avery. A pony named Thelma dreams of becoming a singer. In order to achieve her dream, she pretends to be a unicorn, garnering her fame and attention. Dylan, what did you think of this trailer for this animated film?
Yeah, I got no complaints. Double thumbs up. Looks great. Very funny. Unicorn. Looks like a great time for kids. I got nothing. It looked like a good time to me.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 thumbs up as well. I mean, sure, there is a ridiculousness of a little pony being hit with buckets of sparkles and big paints while wearing a horn. Just a random bit of happenstance. That's really fun. Obviously, it is based on a pretty popular children's book, an Australian children's book. But yeah, I mean, good cast. I didn't realize who Brittany Howard was from name, but she's the lead singer from Alabama Shakes.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah,
I didn't know
like
that.
a proper singer instead of an actress who can sing. I guess
These fake singers.
These fake singers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's a
Ryan
pretty
Gosling.
standard story about, oh, you shouldn't have to pretend to be somebody else to be successful or whatever. But, we all know that's a lie.
I thought the message was there's a unicorn in all of us.
Could be. So this is coming to Netflix on the 17th of May. Next trailer is for Daddy-O. Directed by Christy Hall, starring Dakota Johnson and Sean Penn. After landing at JFK Airport, a young woman takes a cab back to her apartment in Manhattan. During the ride, she and cab driver Clark have unexpected, honest conversations about numerous topics, including their past and present relationships, sex and power dynamics, loss and vulnerability. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Daddy-O?
I'll go double thumbs up. This is a hard movie to produce a trailer for, but I feel like the pacing and the way this one played out does a really good job of spelling out what type of movie it is. Maybe if it's going to be for you or not, but just really just focusing on, hey, this is a movie about literally just two characters talking in a cab. And you can try and overplay that, make it more exciting than what it's going to be. But I think the trailer did a good job of setting up what it sort of is, and yeah, so I'll go double thumbs up.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it 2 thumbs up. I think again, they sold the movie reasonably well and have enough tidbits in there to kind of get you interested, whether it's like the discussions they're having or the things they're seeing on the streets of New York City, like that you assume it spark different conversations, that kind of stuff. Yeah, interesting movie. Is this one you actually want to see? I don't regularly ask that question.
Yes. No, but yes, I would say that this is a movie I would want to see. Yes. Why wouldn't I? It's Sean Penn, man. Sean Penn looks like he's given best performance he's given in a while in this, to be honest.
I know. Do you really want to go to cinema to see two people talking in a cab?
This movie's not playing on my cinema. What are you talking about?
That is a good point.
But yeah, I mean, I would. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch anything at the cinema. I don't give a fuck. But I don't fall for the cinema movie or non-cinema movie. I hate
also,
that shit.
How long is a taxi from JFK?
I don't know. Fucking 14, an hour and a half.
No, just I'm just saying,
Some people just want action, like it's a movie.
Some people just want plot heavy, films.
Yeah, but the cinematography
feels
and everything looks like it has beautiful.
They want events to happen. They're not there to have conversations.
Yeah,
some people don't enjoy Dinner with Andre.
Of New York City and stuff like that. They'll look good on the big screen, and just being able to experience that. Yeah, there's no non-cinema movies, right? Right, just because you hate cinema, Ash, like fucking some of us is still trying to.
Anyway,
support it.
Daddy-O is coming to US cinemas.
You don't pay for tickets. You don't. I
pay for some tickets. Daddy-O is playing in US cinemas from the 28th of June. There is currently no Australian release date, so really it doesn't matter if we want to see the movie in cinemas or not.
Exactly. That's right. It's going to come straight to fucking some streaming service. Or no, it'll go straight to VOD. Yeah.
All right. Next trailer is for Transformers 1. Directed by Josh Cooley, starring Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, Steve Buscemi, Lawrence Fishburne, and John Hamm. The untold origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron, better known as sworn enemies but once were friends, bonded like brothers, who changed the fate of Cybertron forever. Dylan, what do you think of Transformers 1?
I don't know. Everyone's pissed off about this movie. It's obviously for kids. One up, one down. Trailer's fine. Whatever. It looks dumb, but it's so heavily marketed towards kids. It's hard for me to get too angry at it. Like it's so, it's like to the degree it nearly feels like a 3 p.m. cartoon, like a 3 p.m. directed at kids just coming out of preschool cartoon. So whatever, one up, one down.
I'm giving it 2 thumbs down. And I've got no issue that it is for kids. I just feel like it is marketed so exclusively for kids that I can't imagine it appealing to any adults taking kids to this. Like, I think any parent who watched this trailer is filled with an existential feeling of dread and hope their child never watches this trailer. Because they fear the prospect of having to go see this movie. That, it does not look good at all.
No, but like it's so, like I feel like how it's like it's such like kids jokes. It's like, part with Bumblebee like fly. He's like, I'm a car now. I need wheels. Like and all this. I'm like,
and he
it's
crashes
so,
and he pops wheels after. Yeah,
it's so like just kid. Yeah.
I mean, the only funny bit is when he goes around with the freaking laser arms.
And chops. It's like, oh, the thing is like, oh no, I've got laser arms. Crazy! I just killed someone. But anyway,
yeah, and he's accidentally threatening these people into extending his lie about the door being like that when he came in. Yeah, it's
not for us.
My interest in this has dropped completely.
Yep. Now I feel like
this is not Transformers Spider-Verse, to say the very least.
No.
Which is what some people were billing it as beforehand.
Who? And why? Based on what?
The marketers.
Were they?
Like, hey, we're making a Transformers animated movie. We've seen the success of Spider-Verse. We're looking to tap a similar audience, Or I've seen Spider-Verse used in the same sentence as this several times. I think any major franchise that chooses to move from live action to animation.
I mean, it moved from
compared to Spider-Verse
animation to live action, now back to animation, right?
True, but it will be compared to Spider-Verse because also Spider-Man went through that same arc as well. It was an animated TV show, then they did live action movies, then it did live action animated.
Maybe they did a bad job of like setting up people's expectations for this, but I would agree. I didn't think this was going to be as like young.
I mean, when you say this is going to be the origin story of the Transformers, you think it's going to be tackled a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, but it's just not even close.
It's not even trying. So yeah, this is coming to cinemas on the 12th of September. Final trailer for this week. Hitman. Directed by Richard Linklater, starring Glenn Powell, Adria Arjano, Austin Emilio, Rita, and Molly Bernard. A professor moonlighting as a hitman of sorts for his city's police department descends into dangerous, dubious territory when he finds himself attracted to a woman who enlists his services. Dylan, what do you think of this trailer for Hitman?
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. Very keen. Glenn Powell looks to be giving it a great, 4 or 5 man performance. Looks both funny and, weird at the same time. Very keen. I would love to see it in the cinema. I know they are showing it limited, but I'm going to end up watching on Netflix, of course. But yeah, no, it looks very good.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up from me as well. Obviously, we've talked about this movie a few times before. But this trailer kind of very much cemented what this movie is in my mind now. It looks like a ton of fun. Like, Glenn Powell looks like he's having a great time in all those different weird get-ups and with different accents and that kind of stuff, but also is bringing the sexy with the sexy lady, the hitman and that kind of stuff. I'm definitely keen. Would love to see it in the cinema. We'll see if it actually plays. I didn't see any dates for here in Australia, but we'll see. But likely Netflix. So
I mean, it just looks like, if you haven't seen it, it just looks like, tonally wise, at least, the closest to me is just Linklater's other film, Burning, the one that stars Jack Black. Which I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No, I
I'm
haven't.
taking your reaction to say you have not seen that. So this is what this looks most like to me.
I will say it is amusing that what was it? What were the 2? There was 2 films that they listed at the start. I think it was Dazed and Confused and School of Rock. Like, from the director of these two movies, of his entire filmography, these ones are the two relevant ones for this one.
Yeah. I guess they're more famous, but yeah, that's not what it made me think of. But
yeah, all right. All right. So, Hitman is coming to Netflix on the 7th of June. All right, let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And in order of Fall Guy coming to cinemas this week, this week's top 3 is top 3 Ryan Gosling performances. Dylan, what's your number 3?
my number 3 may be shocking to some, but it's actually La La Land, Sebastian.
Ooh.
Low for me, I feel.
I think so.
I feel like anytime I can bring La La Land up into a list, I usually end up putting it first. So
number 1, yeah.
Usually number 1. But yeah, I mean, this is a great performance from Ryan Gosling. Obviously, I've talked about this film a million times if you listen to the podcast, and you should know it by now. But I mean, it's Gosling's only film after a lengthy career where he actually was like, you know what, all that time in the Mickey Mouse Club and everything, fucking now's the time, baby. Let me fall back. And there's those videos of people seeing me dance around as a kid and everything. I can still prove I can still do it. So, it's a great movie, gives a great performance, bit of comedy, bit of obviously romance and everything like that. But his chemistry of Emma Stone is one of his best co-partners. What have been the 3-4 films now, whatever it is.
Just the 2, I think. 3
with American
La La Land, Gangster
Squad,
and
then
Crazy Stupid Love.
So they have impeccable chemistry, I think, and great performance.
All right. My number 3, Lars and the Real Girl. You really believe that this man could fall in love with a lifelike sex doll, and it has a genuine relationship. I think this may have been like one of the first things I saw Ryan Gosling in.
Not The Notebook.
Not The Notebook, surprisingly. No. This, which is on par with The Notebook, from what I understand. Similar love stories. And his just full commitment to this character, who is what I now consider very against Ryan Gosling type. A very quiet, subdued person, like very much an introvert. Clearly, I mean, you'd have to be very much an introvert if you're starting a relationship with a lifelike sex doll, anatomically correct sex doll. I think is the correct term. So yeah, Lars and the Real Girl. Dylan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is The Nice Guys. The movie in which we should have had many more, but no one watched it at cinema, and now we only have one. But again, Ryan Gosling has great chemistry with his co-star in Russell Crowe in this one. I think that's a big part of it. Plays the private detective, whatever. Yeah, private detective hired to track down a porn star? No,
A girl, a missing girl.
Missing girl. Yeah. It's like anyway, it's been a while. So I need to rewatch it. So good, but it very funny. I still think years later, it's still probably in the last 10 years. I think I have laughed. This is one of the movies I've laughed the most at in cinema in the last 10 years, easily off the top of my head. Like I can think about just the amount of fun I had watching this movie. You're talking before about The Fall Guy just being, fun, such a good fun film. This was that. I remember watching it, just thinking the action scenes were fantastic, the comedy was so good, the story, the back and forth dialogue between all the characters, it was just unreal. I'm so sad we never got more, but anyway, that's my number 2.
My number 2 is Barbie. Ken, national phenomenon, changed the way we talk, changed the vocabulary of the world. And Ryan Gosling completely committed to bringing the Kennedy to the world with his abs and blonde hair and love of horses.
Kojo.
What can you say?
It's
kind of the role he was born to play.
True.
Dylan, what's your number one?
Number one is the driver from Drive. It is a more stoic, I guess, performance. It's also one of the ones that he leans more heavily into just being straight up just badass without saying much, and like a bit more of that sex symbol, I guess, stuff as well. The jacket and everything. A lot of the way he's like played out in this movie is very cool, very sexy, sort of thing. But yeah, there's a lot to the character. It's weird because obviously in this he plays a stunt man as well. There's this thing, Ryan Gosling, the guy who plays stuntman, very different stuntman, I think, to the recent film. But yeah, very dark film, very violent film for him as well. But I just feel like he does a lot in this movie with the driver. And as the movie goes on, you get to see that onion peeled back without the film ever fully diving too deep into his psyche and stuff. You can sort of just see it played out on screen with one of his more subtle performances, I think.
All right. My number one, Blue Valentine. A really
2011.
Yeah, 2010, 2011. I guess it's a romantic drama, but obviously it's a film about a married couple chronicling their courtship, but also following the dissolution of their marriage, like several years later, as Ryan Gosling turns into a piece of shit. So, yeah, I think obviously like very improvised and like kind of like it. Just everything in the film feels very real and like honest, and like we're just kind of a fly on the wall. And obviously Ryan Gosling's performance is a large part of why this movie is a success and also very heartbreaking and a hard watch. So yeah, that Blue Valentine's number one. All right, Dylan, this week what do you want to watch?
The Fall Guy.
I also want to watch The Fall Guy probably again. Anything else?
No.
I mean, on the TV front, I want to see Dead Boy Detectives, which comes to Netflix this weekend. And I'll quickly also shout out Knuckles, which releases or starts airing.
Shout out to Knuckles. Everyone on the internet says he's barely in his own show. Apparently, that's what the review said.
Apparently, that is the rumor that I've seen. All right, let us know what you're excited to watch this week by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. Anyone can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.